Okay, this how-to video is going to talk about how to use the back drilling command inside the Cadence PCB tools. So first of all, what is back drilling? Back drilling is a manufacturing process that kind of allows us to remove stubs from plated through holes of pins and wires to improve the electrical performance of high-speed signals. So I've got a little graphical representation here I can just show you. So obviously this is a through-hole board. I've got a standard kind of pad size and a through-hole here. My connection on this through-hole pin effectively comes in on this layer here and comes out on this layer here. So I want to remove this stub area, so you can actually do this with a back drill, so that the fabricator will drill from the bottom side into this using this manufacturing stub length to a must not cut layer. So you'll drill through these layers here to remove the stub completely. The drill diameter is obviously slightly bigger than the back drill start pad. And effectively allows you to drill the hole through. You can have clearances in solder masks and clearances and like keep out areas as well to help you when you're doing the back drill command. What I would say from a back drill point of view is there are a couple of useful resources to go and look at. So if you actually go to the help and documentation, and when the Cadence help appears, we just literally just type back drill, hit return. There's a working with back drilling. And we can literally just do a right mouse button here and open the PDF and generate a PDF. And this is let me just grab the PDF, drag it across. So I've got this best practices working with back drilling. It kind of goes through step by step, kind of the options that you need to do to get back drill and sort it out and what you need to do from using it. So that's one option. I would recommend having a look at that. So let's just get rid of that. The other place to look is on the Cadence support site, so support.cadence.com. If you go to resources and then rapid adoption kits, and again we can do a search for back drill here. There's an enhanced back drill Allegro PCB editor. And there's a kind of a PDF file. You can actually click on this zip file, which will download the same example I'm working through now. So quite a useful thing for just have a run through and maybe copy what I'm doing on the video, but at least you can get an idea what you need to do. So back drilling is you have to start off by telling the tools which nets you need to back drill. This can be done one of two ways. So we can do this from setup constraints. And we need to go to the properties, so let's just go to the physical for now, and then we'll open the properties tab, general net properties. There's a back drill max PTH stub length, and you specify this value on a net by net basis for the ones that you wish to back drill. So you can kind of see a list of the back drill options here. The alternative is to, if you can't use the constraint manager option, or you don't want to use the constraint manager option, is you actually go to the net based object inside the main PCB editor canvas, and then do a right mouse button property edit. You can then go and specify the back drill max PTH stub value here as well. So there's two places to go and define the actual value to choose which nets you wish to do. So the back drill itself is stored predominantly now inside the pad stack. The old way was to do it on a design basis, and you can still do that method, but the more intuitive way now is to use the pad stack. So if we launch pad stack editor, so once we've got pad stack editor open, I'll just go and open a pad stack that's got some back drill on it just to show you. There's a drill tab, obviously, which is where your default drill hole will be defined, whether it's plated, non-plated, the diameter, size, tolerances, etc. There's a secondary drill tab that allows you to label effectively the back drill diameter that you need, the figures, etc. that you want for your NC drill legend. Once this is enabled, if you go to the design layers tab, you then also now get a back drill start for the pad diameter, the anti-pad diameter, and a back drill clearance effectively for the anti-pad and for the keep out area. I can also get a back drill solder mask diameter that can be slightly smaller than the main solder mask that you need, and you would do that on each pad stack that needs the back drill command. I've now effectively got that, so what I need to do is just update my pad stacks in this design to bring in that back drill information. And the way I'm going to do that is use the tools, pad stack, and refresh. I'm going to use a pad stack list, which I'll just go and browse for. I've got a pad stack list there. Let me just go and open this pad stack list to show you. So this is just a list file, effectively just including the two pad stack names that I want to refresh. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll just go and refresh those pads. And once that's done, let's just hover over one of the pads. We'll do a right mouse button, modify design pad stack, all instances to see pad stack editor again. If we look at the secondary drill, my back drill is enabled. I've got the back drill defined, start and clearance, and it's defined on my mask. So there's that square pin there. And if we do the same on this one, you'll see the same. So I've got effectively the back drill is defined on the secondary drill. The design layers show me the back drill start and clearance, and the mask layer is just showing me the back drill solder mask size. So I'm good to go and ready to start doing some back drilling information now. So what we'll do is we'll go to the manufacture, NC, back drill setup and analysis. So when we first get this, we get the option to choose effectively the deepest back drill layer from the top and the deepest back drill layer from the bottom. So from the top layer, looking at the visibility pane here, what's the deepest layer I can back drill down to? I could back drill down to layer 9, and from the bottom I could back drill up to layer 2. So let's choose those. So we'll choose layer 9 for that one and layer 2 for that one, and then we'll click OK. And this then generates the potential back drill pair sets that I could use. So effectively top to layer 2, but I must not cut layer 3. Top to layer 3, but I must not cut layer 4, etc, etc. It's going to show me the depth of what that drill is, so effectively using the cross-section thickness, the depth from the top layer going all the way down to whatever layer 7 for example is 2.0651 millimeters. So this is one way to do it. It's going to give you every single layer pair option. I might not need all these back drill layers, but this is effectively what it's going to show me. We can also do this manually, so I'm just going to do a right mouse button and we'll just delete the pair sets. And then I can manually just go enable a pair, do a new pair set, sorry. So I want to go from the top. I want to use pins and vias, and I want to go to say, let's go to layer 4. And I want 3 of these, so I'll just add a 3 as the layer pair ID. And then I'm going to say layer 4, maybe layer 6, and maybe layer 7. It's automatically bringing up the must not cut layer, and it's automatically defining the depth based on the cross section. I can add values in here, so I can do a right mouse button, insert a pair, maybe want to include layer 5 as well. So you can manually define which layer pairs you need for your back drilling. Once you've done that, you can then just go and enable them and use them going forward. You can also get the tool to do this for you, so let's just, let's not disable, let's just do a, let's delete this pair set. If I use the layer pair initialization option, firstly I can rerun that initial initialization that I had, so deepest back drill layer from the top and the bottom. If you change the cross section, number of layers in your design, etc, and you want to recalculate that, you can use this option here. I can also use the minimum or the minimize electrical stub length or minimize layer pairs option to create the layer pairs that I need. So I'm just going to do that, and then we'll close, and then this will effectively give me, based on where I've got tracks on certain layers, it's going to automatically run the analyze command, so it's giving me the plunges, the layer pairs that I need, so effectively from top to layer 2, top to layer 3, top to layer 4, and then bottom to these layers here as well. It's effectively done that, it's run the analysis and worked out which back drill pairs I need. If I actually run the analyze command again, which effectively gives you the calculation for the number of plunges, what it does is it starts to give you the information, so the manufacturing stub length, the oversize, what layers from and to that you're going from and to, the depth, all the information that you need. So there's the cross-section information. It's then telling me effectively, so I'm going to have 5 from the top to layer 2, so 2 from layer 2, 3 from layer 4, and then 153 from the bottom, and it's giving me those layers as well. Now what you can do, because back drilling is obviously another manufacturing process, there could be some expense involved in here. You can actually start to look at the analysis and decide whether you want to remove some of these back drill options. So in this example for here, going to layer 4, I've got an extra 3. I might be able to change some of the routing to minimize the number of back drills that I actually need. And because the report gives me all that information, I can actually look at what's going on here and say these are the back drill options that I've got. So the nets that I'm specifically looking for, so let's go and get the so I'm looking effectively for P66 IQL4. This is the one going to layer 4, must not cut layer 5. Let's just zoom in a little bit. I can then click on the hyperlink in the report file. Let's just move these out of the way, and it's telling me that this is the via that I'm looking at. I could potentially change this net here from layer 6. Yeah, I could change that to layer 3 without too much problem, so I could do a change to layer 3. That would effectively remove one of the back drills. This is the next one to layer 4. So I've got another net. Can I do the same on this one? I can. So let's just use the tab to get the connect line. Right mouse button, change to layer. Let's make that layer 3. And then we've got another one as well in this example. That one there, which effectively is this net here. So we can then change to layer 3. So I've now effectively removed those 3 possibilities for back drilling. So if I come back to the main form again and run analyze, effectively my plunges now is down to 0. My report is up to date. So what I can then do here is effectively just disable having to run that back drill option. I don't need to run that back drill in this command. So I can then say, okay, that's good, I'm good to go. So I can then effectively run my back drill command. So I then enable the back drill command. You can see things like some keep out areas, some labels being added, which I'll cover in a little bit more detail as we go through this demo. Pad stack parameters option gives us the ability to effectively add this kind of information to pad stacks that don't have the back drill information defined. If we actually click on the details option here, you can see this is a list of the pad stacks that we're using without the back drill data, and these are the ones that are using that kind of back drill. So there is an option to kind of use this in the back drill process if you wish to. I would probably recommend doing it in the library pad stack itself, though. That's the way Cadence are kind of recommending this option now. There's some flag codes, obviously from a DRC point of view, to just get some idea about which DRCs you need to look at from a back drill. It's worthwhile having a look at the flag codes, so they actually give you, when you do some DRCs, you can see and work out which error codes mean what when you're seeing a DRC in relation to back drill. So the drill parameters tab effectively gives us the ability to specify a manufacturing stub length. This is something that your PCB fabricator will drive and give you the information for, and it's kind of a maximum value that he's allowing from the must not cut layer to the bottom of the drill. So he may well have a different value for this, so I'm just going to specify a value of what my PCB fabricator has told me. If I then go to the layer pairs tab, you'll notice that the depth effectively is out of date now, and if I click on any of these, what it's telling me is I'm getting some warnings because my stub length is too big. So when I add everything together, I can't effectively adjust the correct layer pair. So the layer pair needs to be adjusted to sort out the must not cut layers correctly. So we can actually do this automatically. If we click OK here, there's actually a user preference. So if we go to Setup and User Preferences and look under Manufacture and Drilling, there's an option here called Back Drill Layer Pair Adjustment. If we hover over it, you'll see a summary in the bottom of the User Preferences window just to describe what it's actually doing. So we can enable this user preference, and then if we go to Manufacture, NC and Back Drill Analysis again, let's just analyze. It's going to give me a warning that it's been adjusted for the value here. If we click OK here, you'll notice that the depth values will actually get updated. So I've now got some accurate values using that manufacturing stub length, and I know that I'm going to meet the constraints going forward and the manufacturing rules that my PCB fabricator has given me. So once the back drilling is done, I'm going to start getting some graphical representation on the screen. So you can see if I just zoom in here, I'm effectively getting the keep out area. I'm getting some back drill layer identification. So the back drill layers going from 1 to 2 must not cut 3, and from 10 to 8 must not cut layer 7. If we actually look at the setup design parameters option, we've got an enable for back drill hole, so we can actually physically see the back drill hole here. And we can also see the drill labels, and you can graphically see this representation on the screen, which can really help you when you're looking to see the back drills when you're going forward. So because the back drill has been run, let's just enable the layer select mode. Let's go and look at, say, the solder mask top. You'll see effectively a slightly smaller opening for the hole on a hole that's been back drilled, so that the updated value for the solder mask value will be done. This is also going to be the same for plane, so that the anti-pad value is going to be shown. So it's a dynamic visualization of the back drill hole in any of the layers that we're using. We can also hover over a pin, for example, that's been back drilled, do a right mouse button show element, and the show element data will show us the back drill data for each pin that's got that information on. So again, you're getting all the relevant information that you require to check out your back drill information is correct. So there are some scenarios, obviously, when you add the back drill, there will be a keep out added. It will void things like copper shapes, but what we won't do is obviously void move positions of any C lines that are there. So you can see by adding the back drill, I've effectively created a DRC error or DRC error here. So what I would need to do is obviously come and slide that out the way to clear the DRC and resolve the issue. Okay, from a manufacturing point of view, we've got some output processes we can follow. So if we look at the manufacture, and what we want to look at here is the drill legend. So manufacture NC drill legend. We have the option here to include back drill in the legend file. So if we click OK, we need to make sure that the back drill is up to date first. We're going to need to go to manufacture NC back drill setup and analysis. Back drilling is out of date. It's going to show me there. It's also going to show me this under the display status. You'll see out of date back drills as a new option. So if I click on update back drills, it will take me to the back drill form, and I can then rerun the back drill. Let's click OK to that and OK to that. You'll also notice that if you do slide vias, for example, or make any adjustments, so let's just go and do a slide here. We'll slide this via down. This back drill hole effectively gets updated. So if I then go back to the display status command, you'll see that my back drilling is out of date again, and I need to update that to get the back drill information resolved. So once I've got that, I'm ready for my my fabrication data. So manufacture NC drill legend. I can include the back drill. So if I click OK, that will then give me my NC drill charts. And if we then use the move command with the groups enabled,